Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World review. Today we're taking a look at the new Dino Escape Camp Cretaceous Ouranosaurus. I was really excited for this figure when it was first announced. I love the Ouranosaurus appearance in Camp Cretaceous until I saw more promotional pictures of this figure. That hideous slider button on the side still bugs the ever-living crap out of me. I just don't like it. I think I might actually hate that button a little bit more than I actually hate blue. But it's a new species. I'm always excited to add a new one to my collection. And first impressions, this is a really big figure for a Roar Attack. It's huge. I feel like this should be in the Mega Destroyers line for how big it is. And I haven't even attached the tail on this thing yet. I ended up getting this figure off of Amazon. It retails for just under $15, and I'll leave a link to that Amazon listing down below in the description. So let's just go over the package really quick before we crack this figure open. Comes in the Roar Attack style box, which is pretty much the same as the Soundstrike and Roarivores. Got the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous logo up here, Toro the Carnotaurus, Darius, the Dino Escape logo, Smash Paddock fence in the background, and then turn the box around. We get a nice picture of the Ouranosaurus, how that Roar Attack function action feature works. And I gotta say, I've been messing around with it in the box. It works really, really well. You know, the taste for the slider button aside, I have to say the action feature works great on this thing. And then down here in the corner, we have the other figures available in Wave 2 of this Roar Attack. We have the new Baryonyx. I'm actually not going to pick that one up because I already have the old Roar one, and that one's fine for my Baryonyx trio. And then we have a brand new Allosaurus. Hopefully this one can stand up much better than the Battle at Big Rock one, but man, that color scheme on that Allo is bugging me. And if you hear that bark in the background, that is my tiny little dog just causing a ruckus downstairs. So this Allosaurus, I should probably have it in a couple days. So anyways, enough about the packaging. Let's crack this big figure open and take a closer look. But before we throw this figure up on the turntable, just like all other Roar Attack figures, the tail comes unattached in the packaging. All you have to do is just turn the figure around and just push this in. You're going to hear it click into place. It is a one-time assembly. Once you get it in, you cannot get it out. Alright, let's have this 360-degree view of this figure. Like I said, just the size of this thing being a Roar Attack figure just kind of blows my mind. It's just such a big, bulky figure for that $15 price, and I love the sculpting and detail on it. Mattel has done a really good job upping up the detail on the figures in Dino Escape. They've been really hit or miss with the paint schemes, but I have to say, I really like how the paint turned out on this. I've been kind of hard on Mattel for making too many green dinosaurs in Dino Escape, but I really like how the green turned out on here. And there's 4 different paint apps on here. I can't think of a Mattel figure off the top of my head that has 4 different color paint apps on it. So this might be a first. Probably have to go back and look at some figures, or someone's just going to correct me in the comments. But I am impressed by that. You have some nice yellow on the sail, some bright blue on the snout, some orange. You got some greenish yellow for the belly. Just all around, just a really nice, well-done paint scheme. And that's been Mattel's problem lately. Just some of the stuff, like the Monolophosaurus I just reviewed and the Chialingosaurus, just the paint apps just don't make any sense. They just look really lazy, but this one turned out great. You know, my biggest complaint on it is that ugly slider button on one side of the figure. Looks fantastic from the side where the button isn't, but I have to say, having this figure in hand, the button isn't bugging me as much as when I first saw it in pictures, but it still is a real eyesore. I would love to see this get retooled in the future without that button. I'm sure there could be a different way they can incorporate the action feature without having that hideous button on the side. And I just really like this thing. Yeah, it's not a perfect Tyrannosaurus. You know, the tail's really, really short. Those front limbs do not look like the hands of Tyrannosaurus, but it's just a really cool looking Jurassic World style dinosaur. And for that, I love it. And let's just do a couple quick measurements. This figure is just a hair under 13 inches long, about 12 3/4 inches, and just about 6 inches tall to the top of the sail. So Tyrannosaurus in real life was just over 23 feet long, so I'll put this figure somewhere in that 1/21 scale range. Alright, let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this really nice head sculpt. I think the head on this Tyrannosaurus turned out quite nicely. You got the crest up here, nostril sculpted over here. You got an ear canal. You got a lot of nice fine, small scales all over the head, actually, and all over the body. Like I said, Mattel's gotten really good at giving these figures some nice texturing on it. And then going down to the beak, you can see that there is some nice bright blue paint on the beak, and then turn it over, you can see that bright blue paint extends under to about right here, then it switches over to a nice bright orange paint. Now I'm glad that the mouth of this figure wasn't sculpted open. One thing that bugged me about the appearance of Ouranosaurus in Camp Cretaceous is that they gave it molars, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. But other than that, I think this head turned out really nice. The eye is painted a reddish brown color. Let's get my camera to focus back in on that. Same problem we've been seeing with the pupils. The base plastic underneath is the eye color, but there is a little bit of yellow paint on the pupil, and I thought it might have been a mistake, but it is the same way on this side right here. Let's get that to focus in. The eye on this side is just a tad bit wonky. You know, that's another quality control complaint that a lot of people have about Mattel, but it's really not the worst I've ever seen. It's really actually not bothering me. And then going down to the neck, you can see some nice folds of wrinkles and nice scale detail mixing in with that dark green and that bright orange. And then we get to about the chest region. You have this greenish yellow paint for the underside. Now, it doesn't really color match the plastic for the cover that covers the speakers and the battery compartment, but it's the underneath of the figure, so it's really not that big of a deal. And then going down to the front legs, they gave it pretty much a quadrupedal look. Ouranosaurus could walk bipedally and quadrupedally in real life. You get some nice folds and wrinkles and nice fine scale detail. The hands are absolutely completely wrong. You know, they have sharp claws on it. It's just not right, but, you know, for Jurassic World, I guess it works because, you know, the easy way out is to say that, you know, they're not real dinosaurs. They have other DNA mixed in with them. But like I said, it's not meant to be accurate, so it's not going to bug me too much. You get some nice scale detail along the side of the body. You got the horrendous looking slider button up here. I mean, it's just so obtrusive to look at, but like I said, in hand doesn't look that bad. I mean, you do have some nice scale detail where this indentation is, but like just like from this angle, it does not look good. And let's just zoom out a little bit to get a better look at that sail. I think the sail turned out absolutely great on here. You can see the neural spine sculpted in. You have this nice light yellow paint apps over it. Looks really good. See, Mattel, you can do good paint jobs when, you know, whoever's designing these figures knows what they're doing. And then, you know, another thing, I just wish some of that yellow did continue down to the sail at the base of the tail. It's just another thing they don't like painting the tails on most of their figures. There are some exceptions like the new Dinosaur. And then going down to the hind legs, you get some really nice muscular looking thighs, more of that nice scale detail. The toe claws not painted in, which is pretty typical. And then you get down to the tail. The tail is really short. They could have made it longer because the tail comes unattached in the packaging. It does make the figure look a little bit weird, but I think it looks kind of cute, so that really doesn't bother me. Tail has all that beautiful scale detail and texturing. And here's how the figure looks like from the other side. Without the button, I think it looks absolutely great like that. Now, that is just really nice looking. I just, like I said, hope sometime in the future they find a way to get rid of that button and just retool this figure. And before I forget, here is the scan code for those who want to scan this into the Fax app. Now for articulation, the head can move down a little bit, it can move up a little bit, and you can turn it a little bit side to side. Let's turn it from the front. It can't really rotate 360 degrees, but you can get some little rotation at the head, so that is some really nice head articulation. For the arms, they can move back. Actually, they can move 360 degrees. They are on a hinge, so you can swing them out. Hind legs can move backwards and forwards. They actually can do 360 degrees, and they do have that pivot to help with stability for whatever reason. Now, here's an interesting articulation. You don't really see this, you know, ankle pivot or wherever it is. You usually see it on the T-Rex and the larger figures. You never see it on the Rortech, so that is really interesting that they decided to give it to this figure. And then going down to the tail, tail can move up, can move down, and it can move side to side, and it can rotate 360 degrees. So enough about the articulation. Let's go over the action feature. Now, ugly button aside, the action feature on this figure works pretty well. What you want to do is, it has 3 different sliding spots. Here's the first position. You get some roars. Second position. And what it's doing is cocking that head back, and when we get to the last position, it just drops down and heads butts. And that comes down with some force. It feels like the head is weighted when it's like unlocked like this. And just to bring it back, you just slide the button back. And it'll bring it back into place. So let's bring out a victim. Let's bring out what I think is the worst figure in the entire Mattel line and see how it holds up to this Ouranosaurus. Let's cock the head back. And it hits with enough force to actually knock a figure down. And that's why I really, really like this action feature. Moving on with comparison, here it is with one of the human figures. Here it is with Kenji, and I absolutely love the scooter figure that comes with Kenji. You're going to see Kenji making a lot of appearance in these upcoming Jurassic World reviews. And here it is with this stupid raptor. And here it is with the previously reviewed Chialingosaurus. And here it is with the adult Roar Attack Bumpy. And here it is with the Mega Destroyer Carcharodontosaurus. Now, both these figures, let me try to keep it in the frame without knocking it over, are roughly the same size. Like I said, I'm just so surprised by the size of this Ouranosaurus that it's a $15 figure compared to the size of this $20 figure. And lastly, let's move the Ouranosaurus up. Here is another sale dinosaur from the line. Here it is with the Extreme Chomping Spinosaurus. So, final thoughts on this Ouranosaurus. Like I said, I was really excited for it until I saw pictures of it with that ugly slider button. But having this thing in hand, I really love this thing. I can forgive the button on here because it's such a great looking figure. I love all the detail on it. The paint apps turned out great. What a big difference 4 different colors can make on a figure. Who knew, Mattel? So yeah, I love this thing much more than I thought I would when I get in here. I thought I was going to rip this thing to shreds because of that button, but I ended up falling in love with this, and I think it's a great, great figure. And another bonus is the action feature works great on here. And just look at the balance of this figure. It's only standing on 2 legs right now, so you can get some nice running poses with it, which is pretty cool. So more bonus points in my book. Like I said at the beginning of the review, I got this figure off of Amazon. Link to that Amazon listing is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I got a couple more Jurassic World stuff coming in. I got the Ray Arnold San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. That should be here tomorrow. The Roar Attack Allosaurus is coming in, and the Apatosaurus should be here in another couple more days. So be on the lookout for those reviews. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.